Go through our 5 steps solving equations. Step 1, distribute. You don't have anything to distribute. So we go on to step 2, which says eliminate fractions. Now to eliminate the fractions, first of all, make sure you have all proper and improper fractions, no mixed numbers. Since we do, we're going to take and we're going to multiply this whole thing by the least common denominator. That's the smallest number that all of our denominators will go into. That when we multiply, they're all eliminated. 18 is divisible by 3 and 2, so it will be our common denominator. And it's divisible by 18. So we do 18 times 1/2 plus 18, or 18 over 1, times 2/3 m equals 18 over 1 is negative 31 over 18. Notice we have to do it to every single term. Even if you have a term that's not a fraction, you still have to multiply every single term. So 2 goes into 18 9 times. That gives you 9 plus 3 goes into 18 6. And 6 times 2 is 12. And then here the 18s cancel, leaving you with negative 31. You'll notice we now have no fractions. Our next step would be to combine like terms, which you don't have any, and then move variables to the same side, which again we don't have any, so we can go on to using inverse operations to solve. So we subtract 9 from each side, so 12m equals negative 40. Then divide by 12. Now 12 does not go into negative 40 evenly. However, they are both divisible by 4. So we can reduce it. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So we can reduce it to 10 over 3. Notice the negative, I also took it out and put it in front of the fraction instead of in the numerator. We'll just make the whole thing negative. Okay, now let's check it. So 1/2 plus 2/3, instead of m, we'll put negative 10/3, should equal negative 31 over 18. So 2/3 times negative 10/3 would be negative 20 over 9. It should equal negative 31 over 18. Now to add, we need a common denominator, which would be 18. That would be 9 over 18, because 2 times 9 is 18, so 9 times 1 is 9. And then 9 goes in 18 2 times, so 2 times 20 is 40. And that should equal negative 31 over 18. Now we just add or subtract the numerators. In this case, that's a negative, that's a positive, so we subtract, you get negative 31 over 18. That does equal 31, negative 31 over 18. So our answer checks. Following our 5 steps again, the first step is to distribute. So we need to multiply everything in the parentheses by negative 2/3, but we need to change this mixed number to an improper fraction first. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that would be negative 7 over 2 plus x. Now we're ready to distribute. 9/5 equals. Now the 2's here would cancel, leaving you with 7 over 3, and then a negative times a negative is a positive, and then minus 2 over 3x. Our next step is to eliminate fractions. This time our common denominator will be 15. That's the smallest number that 3 and 5 both go into. So 15 over 1 times 9 over 5 equals 15 over 1 times 7 over 3 minus 15 over 1 times 2/3 x. So 5 goes into 15 3 times, you get 27. 3 goes into 15 5 times, you get 35. 3 goes into 15 5 times, you get 10x. Now we do not have any like terms to combine or variables to move, so we're ready to do inverse operation. Let's have a little bit of room here. Okay, opposite of plus 35 is minus 35. So negative 8 equals negative 10x. Then we divide by negative 10. Okay, 10 does not go into 8. That's a proper fraction there. But again, we can reduce. Divide them both by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Because they're both negative, we'll cancel and leave it positive. So 4/5 would be your answer. Now let's check it. 9/5 should equal negative 2/3 times, we'll do negative 7/2 again instead of 3.5, plus 4/5. Now before we can add these, we need a common denominator, which would be 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times, so 5 times 7 is 35. 5 goes into 10 2 times, so 2 times 4 is 8. And negative 35 plus 8 would be negative 27 over 10. Okay, now we need to multiply. 3 goes into 27 9 times. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Negative times a negative is a positive. So 9/5 equals 9/5. That one checks also. Okay, first step would be to distribute. And then 2 times 2.8 would be 5.6 plus 2x equals negative 0.6. You would then eliminate fractions, which we don't have any. And the next step would be to combine like terms, which you don't have any, and then move variables to the same side. You only have one variable. And the last step is to use inverse operations to solve. So we will do that. Subtract 5.6 from each side. So 2x equals, these are actually same, so we add, you get negative 6.2, then divide by 2. So x equals negative 3.1. Okay, create some room to solve, check it now. So 5.6 plus 2 times negative 3.1 equals negative 0.6. Or at least it should. 2 times negative 3.1 would be plus, or would be negative 6.2 actually. And it should equal negative 0.6. Since these are different, we subtract. Come over here to show you 6.2 is negative, but it's larger. So we'll put it on top. And then you just subtract. So negative 0.6 equals negative 0.6. That checks. We're going to go through the 5 steps solving an equation. Number 1, distribute. Since we don't have anything to distribute, we can go to the next one. Eliminate fractions. We don't have fractions to eliminate. So we can go to step 3, combine like terms. And there are no like terms on the same side to combine. Number 4, move variables to the same side. We only have one variable. And then number 5, use inverse operations to solve. So we will subtract 0.6 from each side because the inverse of addition is subtraction. Now notice over here these signs are actually the same. They're both negative, so we'll add negative 3.25 equals negative 1.3m. Then the opposite of multiplication is division. So we'll divide both sides by negative 1.3. So 1.3 into 3.25. We'll move that and bring that up here. Okay, 13 times 3 would be 39, which is too large, so we'll say 2, which gives us 26. subtract, you get 65, and then 13 goes into 65 5 times. So 2.5 equals m, and it's going to be positive because we have two negatives here. Okay, now we can check this by plugging 2.5 in for m. So negative 2.65 equals negative 1.3 times 2.5 plus 0.6. So 1.3 times 2.5, that would be 65, 6. That would be negative 3.25 plus 0.6. Those are different. So we subtract, and that gives you negative, actually that should be like that. That gives you negative 2.65. So that does check and confirms that that is our answer.